Let me know when we're live, Dave. Oh, perfect. Hey, it's Brandon David here with the Cleveland Nashville Connection, where innovation and infrastructure collide. We are here for Keep It Moving 10, the Music Tech Media Summit, live from Nashville, Tennessee, with people virtually from all around the world. We're so excited today. We have some amazing special guests that you're about to hear from. We love to kick it off with some introductions, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. We like to keep it no dead air for more than like 5 or 10 seconds, so go ahead and jump in and let's try to keep it short, 30 to 60 second intros, no more than that. Here we go. Perfect. All right. Hey, Andrew Schiffman, you want to kick it off? And then we'll go glassy music. And then just everybody just kind of jump in to make sure there's no dead air. Glad to have you all.
Hey man, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Andrew, originally from London. I'm living in New York. Been in the music space for about 20 years, working at some global platforms like MTV and Vivo, programming strategy. For the last year, I've been in the music live streaming place, working for a streaming platform. I'd say the last 4 months, I've been transitioning to the crypto world, trying to use my previous skills in teaching and educating musicians in Creator Coin and NFTs. Good to be here and learn some more from you guys. Thank you.
Hey, what's happening? Hey, I'm Kamal Malak. I'm based out of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a producer, songwriter, and also I direct film too. I've been in Nashville here now for about 7 years. And it's been an amazing transition. I've come from Atlanta, and Nashville reminds me of Atlanta back in the early 90s, where things were just starting and developing. They just opened up the National Museum of African American Music right on Broadway, right in the center of country music. And that's changing the whole paradigm for Nashville. Also, Nashville just got approved for 40% discounts on film productions happening here in Nashville if you hire Nashville talent. So that's been a huge waiting process that has now been completed. And I'm just looking forward to working and collaborating with everyone on this platform and other platforms.
Hey, how are you guys? I'm Glassy. I'm a producer. I'm based out of Boston. I've spent a long time in New York City, and I've been actually working these last 4 months doing community development for a really interesting NFT community called the NFTs.tips community. We're launching a foundation and doing actually a DAO. So interested to talk more about how NFTs can help aggregate and build unique experiences for our fans and be able to connect people in more meaningful ways and open up brand new revenue streams for us music creators.
Well, hey, everybody. I'm Nancy Deckens. I am from Nashville. I live in Nashville. And I am a songwriter and a producer, and I own an online platform for songwriters. And I mean, not a producer, a publisher. So I have it's a connection place for songwriters and publishers, as well as other industry professionals. And I'm excited to be here today and representing the Nashville part of this whole thing. So. Hello around the globe to all y'all. And Kamal, we're going to have to get together. Yes. Love to meet you in person. So all y'all from Nashville, be easy. But so great to see you here today.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm Brad Segal. I'm out in Los Angeles, and I own a company called Fine Tune Music. We produce music for TV and film. My background was as a classical concert pianist, and I got involved in technology early, and that led me into producing music. Started in the jingle world, doing commercials, radio and TV commercials. And then when I moved back home, that was out of New York. When I moved back here to Los Angeles, that's when I started my business. And I was composing music for film and TV as a work for hire composer, and not songs, but underscore. And got involved in some projects that led me to the world of production music. So I own now a few production music libraries. Again, underscore music primarily. And we're from such the traditional space of how music gets used in media and licensed. And when Brandon a little bit ago, and he started talking about the concept of how, hey, I got some nice background music going there. There you go. But the whole concept of how technology is building the crypto world, the NFT world, how music and all of what we do on a creative side of things and how that's relating. It's so interesting, and it's really, I know it seems complicated. It feels complicated. So, my mission is to learn a lot from what you guys do and try to chime in on this at the same time from my side of things.
Hey, Easy here. Excuse me. Go by Easy in Crypto in the space. Been in the crypto and NFT space for a couple of years. Heavily involved in both bringing literature to the blockchain and music to the blockchain with a project Cypher, where we have AI beat machine. So you can generate beats with the click of a button, flow your rhymes over it, grab some generative artwork as well, set your title, your price, the amount of editions that you want to mint for that NFT, your resale royalties, and it's basically as easy as that to get into the music NFT space. We're literally days away from launching our beta, been testing, very excited. We've been throwing some community events where people can come and rap over the beats, the automagic beats that our bot pumps out. And so very exciting time mixing, music, art, NFTs, crypto. We'll get deeper into it, but yeah, I'm very excited to be here once again. Thank you.
Dude,
Hey, what's up?
count me in for sorry, Corey.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? It's your man, the guy, Corey Bates, Brother Wise Words. And hey, I'm in Indianapolis, born in New Orleans, and pretty known in Ohio. But I'm the CEO of Wise Words, and we exist to create and disseminate positive hip-hop music, just looking to change the trajectory of inner city youth. So, positive hip-hop artist, entrepreneur, videographer. And I was just on tour with Trey Lou and Sister Bree.
Nice. What's up? This is Matt Devine. I originally came from the artist side. I formed a band called Kill Hannah, signed to Atlantic Records in 2003, toured for a decade or more. Got me to Broadway. I worked on the Spider-Man Broadway show for a couple of years, and then got into music management. Led me to where I am now, the head of music partnerships at Cameo, which is a unicorn tech company. If you guys are familiar, it's where fans go to request very personalized video shout outs from their favorite celebrities and heroes, and that's been rocket ship the last oh man, I trust here.
I'm George up on
you
the,
guys about NFTs.
someone else talking? Can you hear me?
Oh, no, go ahead. I think we had a little bit of technical difficulties.
Okay. I didn't know if I was on or not.
Yeah, Matt, were you still going or?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're still going.
No, I think we're good. I think, yeah, we'll catch it. It all works out. So yeah, George Fostek from GV Art and Design.
Yeah, I'm George. You're going to have to guess which one I am on the corner for, but all of us are George Vlasics. So my family. And all of us are creative artists. I've been doing advertising, design. I've worked for a number of ad agencies. My son has worked for a couple big agencies in Cleveland as art directors. He became famous when he picked up an Etch-a-Sketch, and he was at 10 years old at the time, and He's now there. It's considered pop art. He's been on Oprah and Letterman, Regis and Kathy. He's been on ESPN, all the sports shows. They're signed by Ali, Jordan, Ripken, you name it. He's Etch a Sketches, and then they go for a lot of money. You can make posters, giclées, everything. Then from that, it branched off into we did a YouTube video, and I wrote the song because that's what I love to do is write music. So I've got hundreds of songs, but I don't sing and I don't play. So it's pretty tough just doing the words, but you get by. And we did it, took off, got 3 million views. We did a one with Carmelo, it got over 1 million, and we were out in Denver doing something with him, and it just kept growing. Did our first T-shirt. Cavs bought the song. They liked it just the way it was, rough and ready, and it's up on the GV Art site. If you go just under Etches, you'll hear there's like 3 or 4. So sports is our big thing. Music's the thing that I love to do. I've known Brandon for at least 15 years. He was, like I said, I was telling before, he was pushing our art and selling our T-shirts way back 10, 12 years ago, and it's been a fun ride. And just like I say, I love to write. We've got a business. We've got a couple stores now. We've grown from a basement to a kitchen to a couple big stores in Cleveland. It's kind of cool to carry our stuff. We're going to be doing some stuff, Nashville T-shirts. We got at least a half a dozen designs for Nashville just to start out. Work with Major League Baseball Players Association, so we can do any player we want. And but still, we're going to be doing some stuff. We've done stuff with the Bluebird like 12, 15 years ago. George had his Etch a Sketches on display. He did a bunch of country singers, and he was in the newspaper there. And next thing you know, we're in the Bluebird, and one of my friends singing a couple of my songs, and just kept going and going. And that's what I love to do, just create. And we just like to work with people that have the same kind of vision as us. And we're all pretty much happy doing what we do. And that's about it.
How you guys doing? If I can jump in, I'll go ahead. And my name is Mateo Harangozzo. I am the founder of Digital Science Media. We're a premier digital marketing agency for the entertainment space. I would say 90% of our clients are in the music industry. About 80% of those are independent artists with solid teams and investments behind them. And we have a few artists that we support that are major labels. And I'm also the creator of the Ndrs Accelerator, where I've always wanted to create a artist incubator and sort of run it like a lot of the really well put together business incubators, where we teach the artists, their managers, producers, whoever is on the team or whoever wants to succeed in the music industry, various subjects on how to, first of all, understand the business side of things, how to, think about setting up different blueprints for success in terms of setting up your company, what technology stack to use to organize your people, project management, coming out with budgets for your single or album releases, different approaches to, pitching investors. We have classes on how to set up and launch NFTs. The whole 9 yards, pretty much any type of sector of the music industry that an independent artist needs to understand in order to emulate the operations of a major label. We teach it there. We invite a lot of music professionals to do, to teach certain topics. And the curriculum that I teach specifically is on digital marketing and kind of how to operate a business like a startup. And that same curriculum, actually, I'm blessed to say that we got a contract with the Joel Katz Music Business and Entertainment Program in Kennesaw State, as well as a smaller college in Memphis called Visible Music College. So all these curriculums that we provide at the Accelerator are also provided at a collegiate level. And in the future, we got some exciting things coming and launching a marketplace for the independent artist industry. But, I've been in the business, I would say full-time for about 3 or 4 years, but I've been in it kind of one toe in for maybe the last 10 years. I've been successful in other industries in real estate, energy efficiency, software development. I still have a software development company. And, there's always been a passion that I wanted to get into. And I wanted to prove to a lot of the artists that I came across during my time that, look, as long as you understand the business world and how to operate as a business and you have the talent, it's probably the best time ever to be an independent artist. We've never had a better time with as many resources and platforms that are available to our youth to do it the correct way independently, or if a major will get involved, it will be a partnership or a better structured contract than the way it's been done traditionally. So that's kind of my passion, and that's the different lanes that I'm focusing in the music industry right now.
Awesome, Mateo. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love everything that you do. I follow you on Instagram and I watch all your videos. I'm international recording.
Thank you so much.
I am fresh off of the Invasion tour. I was the first lady of the National Invasion tour 2 years in a row. I was the only female in the lineup, singer, songwriter, inspirational Christian hip hop artist. Now I'm pivoting more into film. I just landed my lead role in a feature film called P31, and we are going to be filming that August, September of this year. Super, super excited about that. I just got announced as a 2020 Summerfest artist, which is the largest music festival in the Northern Hemisphere. Super stoked about that. And I'm also on the executive team for Straight Up Nashville. So I do corporate and creative. I'm in real estate as well. So I wear a lot of hats. And I'll be hosting your artist spotlight today with Trey Lou and Corey Bapes, who I had the pleasure of going on the National Invasion tour with. So it's going to be a good time. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Brie. I'll jump right in. My name is Roy Scott. I am founder and CEO of Healthy Hip Hop, and we are building an urban Disney. What we do is take the hip hop beat and put a positive.
Awesome. Feel free to jump in if there's
Cool. All right. I'll take that as a cue. So Zach Teep from the greatest city in the world, Columbus, Ohio. I'll spare the whole story of how I went from music education to sports broadcasting to stand-up comedy to sports and entertainment, but I'm here now. Raised a bunch of money for different charities, did brand activation design for a lot of household brands, worked with some sports leagues. My day job now is with the firm Esports Supply. We do physical and virtual spaces for esports and entertainment projects, including some virtual concert work right now in CGI and some NFT projects with some major talent agencies. I also connect projects to investors on the side. I consider my life's work to be building cool stuff with my friends, and I'm excited to be here with friends new and old and explore how we could do that here. So pleasure to meet you all, and good to see those of you I've already met. Let's have some fun.
awesome. Trey Lou.
Unmute, Trey.
Gotta unmute, Trey.
Unmute.
I was wondering what was going on. All right, here we go. Trey Lewis, man, where basketball and music meets, professional athlete, been playing all over the world. Had a chance to sign on the NBA team in 2018. Just got back from Israel. Had a privilege to go on tour with Corey Bapes and Reese Miles with the Invasion tour. And you gotta excuse me, I'm actually handling some business now that I'm back home in Cleveland, from Cleveland, Ohio. Own a trucking company here. That's what I'm handling a few things. So, but really excited to be here. Excited to see what can come out of this. Owner of also a nonprofit foundation, Trey Lewis Cares, where we improve the lives of the youth all around the world, using the platforms of basketball and music to do so.
Yeah, I'll jump back in. I think my internet cut out last time, so my bad. Something went wrong. But appreciate you, Trey. Yeah, my name is Roy Scott. I'm founder and CEO of Healthy Hip Hop, and we are building an urban Disney. So what we do is take the hip hop beat and put a positive message over it about education and health and wellness. And we found success with using it as a learning tool to improve focus, engagement, and behavior with children. So we just launched our tech company. We've got investment from Techstars, Google for Black Founders Fund, and many others. Our platform, you can think of it as a Spotify meets TikTok in a curated environment for children and families. So the real value proposition for us is, even though it's for children and families, like, our music still sounds relevant to what's happening on the radio, in the streets, in the communities. And we're transforming a generation through infusing hip hop culture with innovative technology, education, and positive attributes. So super happy to be here and connect with everybody.
Todd, did you get a chance to go yet?
I haven't. How y'all doing? Excuse me. I'm in the store grabbing some things. But William Broussard, also go by Todd. I am the CEO of the 3P Group, and we do marketing, promotions, advertisements, also music publishing. And I also started a nonprofit called the Mentorship, that we're taking the youth and basically pulling them out of their natural element and bringing them out into the country and giving them teaching them other trades, as far as like fishing and hunting and farming and et cetera, things like that, but using the music aspects to basically drive them and bring them out for a better goal. But yeah, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm in the grocery store, but I am listening in and chiming in as we go. Pleasure to meet all you.
Beautiful. Yeah, Todd's become a great friend. And did anybody else not get to go yet? I could speak for Dave Deckey in Studio 44 CLE. Him and Jay Sparrow have been backing us from the get-go, with starting in the start of the pandemic in March 2020. Jewel Big Greens management sent me out to Austin, Texas to rep Jewel for South by Southwest. And when the country shut down, I pivoted over to Nashville for 28 days, had an amazing talk with Debbie Carroll from Music Cares at the Grammys. And we decided it was really important to start supporting the artists, the venues, the nonprofits, to help them recoup some of the income they were losing and also raise morale. So in that process, we ended up not working directly with the Grammys at the time. However, we teamed up with Cleveland Rock's past, present, and future, headed up by Cindy Barber, she is the godmother of the Cleveland music scene. And anybody who knows her would know Cindy has just curated such a cultural, place for musicians and artists to be able to grow and glow in Northeast Ohio. So we teamed up with her, Cleveland Rock's past, present, and future. That led us to teaming up with Dave Deckey, Jay Sparrow, and Studio 44, and some others to help support the venues out there. And we kept going to Nashville. I kept making the regular trips. The Cleveland-Nashville connection was birthed. The concept of Cleveland being an innovative city, broadcasting history, tech, medical, and Nashville being known for its infrastructure, and the idea of those two things coming together, innovation and infrastructure. So now the Cleveland-Nashville Connections headquarters are in Nashville, Tennessee. We have some great representation in Cleveland, Ohio, that we'll be announcing soon. Some great projects in the works. And we're excited. We're excited to be here for Keep It Moving 10. Back in July, had this epiphany that we really needed to focus and pivot towards education and empowerment. And for that to be a form of entertainment. You can learn and you can be entertained. It is possible. So I just want to just thank everybody for being here. Each person who was on here is an expert in their own field. And what's amazing, they're a Miyagi in their own right, but they're also a Daniel-san. They're humble and they're willing to learn. And being in this new environment, that is so important when it comes to NFTs, digital collectibles, smart contracts, the future of sync. Those are the things that we discuss on here. And we don't have all the answers, but collectively, we are part of the solution. In our individual lives, but especially collectively when we come together, we are figuring this thing out. And we're so excited to have Mateo from Open Source Entertainment. And he's helped found multiple companies. We also have Nathan from Wartime Leadership. So I really like these two guys to really kick us off today and piggyback off each other. So Nathan was introduced to us from Paul Liu, amazing businessman from Cameroon, Africa. And anybody who knows Paul, he's a teacher. in essence of the teacher, and he's the king of cliff notes. He can break down almost any main teaching and just give you the simple. And so we're both mutually friends of Paul, and Nathan has helped develop the philosophy of the pivot. So Nathan, if you could kick that off, and then Matei, if you could piggyback off them, and we'll eventually we'll get into the artist spotlights, some NFTs, Matt Devine from Cameo, and some other special guests as well. So ladies and gentlemen, Nathan from Wartime Leadership.
Hey, it is a blessing to be here with you all. So I'm originally from Oklahoma, currently live and working out of Charleston, South Carolina. But right now I'm in a hotel room in LA, and that is not Los Angeles, that is Lower Alabama. So I'm enjoying my time, just having a little bit of downtime, writing a little bit on my book. And it's actually funny because chapter 1 is all about the pivot. So the idea and the concept of the pivot is absolutely amazing to me. We know the pivot from the basketball court. We know that that's keeping one foot solidly in place, keeping it locked down while the other foot adjusts, and it opens up the play, right? It either allows the play to develop or it allows a new play to become. So why is that important? Well, thinking about the pivot right now in the business world, in the music world. So I've been in the music industry for 41 years as a listener, not as an artist, as a producer, anything like that. But I love what you all do. I love how you all take your jobs so seriously in producing the voice, the feelings, the understanding that people are going through. But how do we adjust that? How do we adjust what we do? And that's the pivot. So the one foot that stays solid, that is your core values. That is who you are as a person. And as long as that foot stays firmly planted where it's supposed to be, then everything that happens out of that was meant to be. So by pivoting and moving around within the industry, having to adjust what you're doing is allowing the play to happen, is allowing us as individuals to be able to see beyond what's currently happening and be able to develop the play that needs to happen so that we can get the ball closer to the goals, so we can get our goals set and in play. So that's really where the pivot is at. It's just simply making those adjustments in what's currently happening to be able to do what we need to do. So we've been able to see that, obviously Bree, y'all got back from the tour. So obviously, we're starting to open back up. We're starting to see live venues coming into play. We're seeing a lot of great things come out. But even better is that we're continuing within the new creation, the idea that we can still do stuff online, that we can still find revenue streams coming in from being online, and what has come out of that. And that's really what I'm getting out of this. I mean, I'm a student of leadership. I'm not a leader in leadership, in my opinion. I'm a student of leadership. I love to write down what you all bring because you all speak so much truth. It is absolutely amazing. I am so happy to be here with you all. I'm just going to be listening. I'm going to be writing down a lot, and I'm here to learn.
Appreciate you, man. So we want to invite to the stage from Digital Science Media, Open Source Entertainment. He's been making videos that has been helping artists pivot in the essence of that, to understand that it's not just about being a musician or an artist, it's about being an entrepreneur. So ladies and gentlemen, from Digital Science Media, Matei.
Thank you for that introduction, Brandon. I really am humbled to be here. Hopefully you guys don't hear too much background noise. I'm at one of my really good friends' first year birthday party. But to everything that you said, the word pivot means a lot to me, because I would say back in 2011, maybe after 2012, after reading Lean Startup, that whole methodology of applying science to grow the business is really what captured me. I was at the time growing one of my bigger companies that I've been a part of, which was called Renew It. It was an energy efficiency, and we've learned a lot about scaling an operation from starting from 3 people and taking a company to 60 plus. At that time, in 2013, I got into the music industry. And, I got in it, well, I would say 2012, I got into it from a passion standpoint. I taught myself how to engineer. I've been blessed to be able to engineer a few projects, mix and master for labels like Universal and MMG for Rick Russell's label, a few artists there. And, there's always been a passion. But as I was taking it to the next level, after I kind of left the energy efficiency field in 2016, I wanted to get into it full time, and I saw there was a lot of gaps of information or learning in the music industry, and that artists many times, 99% of the time, the artists that I ran across did not treat the music industry as a business. And I thought it was a shame that there's so much talent out there, but some of the common reasons they're not able to get to the next place is because you simply don't understand the business. They don't have a realistic expectation or understanding how to take any type of brand from A to B to C to D and doing the way where it makes sense. Now, obviously, music industry is not something that's sort of regulated like the energy efficiency industry or some other industries that are out there, and it's sort of a wild, wild west. But that's a thing, a beautiful thing about it as well. There's 1,000 different blueprints you can follow and still achieve success. But there's a lot of business 101 concepts that I believe have to be understood in order to succeed. So from the very beginning, when I formed Open Source Entertainment, which is sort of it's not the company that we publicly kind of advertise, but that's the company that I incorporated initially just to, keep this, I wouldn't even call it intellectual property, but just keep the ideas of what I wanted to do in the music industry within that company. But initially I set out to create a music artist incubator. And I called it Open Source Entertainment because I come from the software world as well. And the open source community in the software industry meant a lot to me because it was sort of, open communication, open learning, open kind of infrastructure to help different businesses or platforms to achieve certain things by developing great technology that had built a community around it, and we're able to get accomplish huge things. So fast forwarding a little bit, when I really got into the music industry full time in 2016, about 2017, I was first looking for money to set up a physical facility to create a music business incubator. But that got sidetracked by creating digital science media, which kind of just came out of sheer demand of everything I've been doing online, and artists and managers and even labels are so effective that I figured out the digital advertising aspect early on in my other businesses in 2014, 2015, 2016. So that we would use for the major clients that we had or for my own companies by selling whatever product or service we were providing, I apply that to artists, and it worked very well. And it was sort of disrupting some of the other digital marketing agencies doing the space where they would provide literally, like the perception-based marketing, where they're either doing fake or, a perceptive engagement to kind of make the brand look bigger than it is. But anyway, so that was the company that was born first out of the Open Source Entertainment arm, Digital Science Media, which has grown from just me to now 8 employees full time during COVID, which is a blessing as well. We didn't really know what was going to happen at the beginning of COVID, but it was sort of beneficial for us. I always like to look at the positive side of things. So, we got that to the next level. And then during COVID, the opportunity presented itself where I could take my music business incubator idea and sort of launch it in an online world. So we launched the Ndrs Accelerator. And in there, we teach all these strategies. If you want to summarize it, it is applying the lean startup methodology to the music industry. So I'm treating every student or member that comes in there as a startup company, whether you're the artist, you're the manager, or you're the producer, whatever, side perspective you come in from. And we're trying to help you develop the knowledge and understanding to take your small startup into the next level. So if you're a producer, how do you advertise your services or your production? Where is it best to sell it? How do you, go about creating strategies that will get your brand to the next level, where you can, properly understand the legal side of things, so you can protect your intellectual property. You can resell it, sell it, now that NFTs are coming into place. And as we're developing this Ndrs Accelerator, there's so much information that changes constantly in this field of the music industry, technology, and advertising, that you can't teach stuff in college and university. So with my business partner, Bernard, who's also from Nashville. He had 35 years plus of experience in the music industry. He had a lot of connections with some of these huge music programs with the universities, and we're able to sell a portion of the curriculum that I teach at the Accelerator to these universities, and they love that concept because, like I said, they just cannot really teach digital marketing at a college level. You can't print a book on digital marketing and think it's going to last for 6 months even with the relevant enough information. Just, for example, Facebook made iOS 14, throwing a huge hurdle into the entire digital marketing industry. That happened sort of 2 months ago. So pretty much any publications that are out there in digital marketing, at least 30 to 40% of it is going to be outdated, right? So how do you accomplish that in teaching environments? With the Accelerator, everything that's done is done live. Yes, we record it, we store it for later, kind of absorption, if you want to call it, or digestion by the members that are coming in later. But every time we do that class again, that entire semester again, which is like every 3 months, we're doing the class over with new information, with fresher information, that so you could use the latest knowledge that is out there to get your career to the next level. And in instances like right now with the iOS 14 update, we did a class right away when the things were stabilized and we figured out a solution around the issues with the pixels. We released the class right away to let our students know how they can change their digital marketing practices in order to still succeed in that industry. So being sort of trying to educate the various members of the music industry on how to create or how to treat their art as a business. A lot of education is needed, a lot of pivoting is needed, and it's something that if you're not on your toes constantly and you're not in it on an everyday basis, it's going to be difficult to move forward in 2021. But at the same time, all this knowledge that's out there, these new platforms that are coming online, this digitization, if you want to call it that, the ability to have, 30 revenue streams per year that artists can take advantage of, that's what's going to change the entire industry. I think we're on the cusp of it. And it's going to be interesting for me to see how the major labels that are sort of I won't call them the gatekeepers of the industry, but that are still controlling a lot of aspects of the music industry, how they're also going to adapt to this growing independent artist kind of surge. So I'm just excited to meet everybody here and as well, to learn, because the NFTs, it was something we had to kind of absorb very quickly in the last couple of months, figured out to see if it was feasible before we started teaching it. But it's very exciting to me because I think NFTs as a technology is definitely here to stay. But I'm kind of watching the market as well as participating at the same time to see what's a bubble, what's going to remain, and how things are going to move forward. So I'm blessed to be here with all you guys, and I'm here to learn as well as participate.
Hey, that's really hit the nail on the head when you started talking about the multiple streams of income and how important that is. When I hear about when you ask a lot of people if maybe they haven't, but what we would recommend is the book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm sure you're aware of that how important is the combination of the education, to have those multiple streams, and diversifying that education. Like maybe just talk a little bit about the importance of that reading and what that kind of looks like for an up and coming artist and entrepreneur.
Right. So I think I look at it from two sides, right? Because it is very difficult as an entrepreneur to wear every single hat in the beginning of your company and handle all that stress and all that knowledge and implement it, right? Because learning about it is obviously one thing, but to actually put it into practice and implement it or execute upon it is a whole nother thing. A lot of people, make great professors or great teachers because they understand the theory, they can teach the theory, but I think it's a different world once you start actually putting it into practice. So that's the first aspect. And the second aspect of all of it is that as an artist, you either need to learn it on your own so you can innovate with your own business as an artist. You can incorporate obviously into your creative process. But I think, you look at a lot of entrepreneurs of today that are coming up in music, especially in the hip hop genre, like Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Nas. But even in other genres like Dave Matthews with his winery, it's awesome for me to see that the artists that are passionate about the creation, they kind of apply that same way of thinking into creating other businesses. So as an artist, you can either learn it and execute upon it on your own, and you can be the CEO of your own company, or what I tell our members and our artists that learn it enough so when you are focusing on your music and you're getting your buzz to the next level, once you start building enough leverage where other professionals are interested in joining your team to help you get your business to the next level, at least you're educated on what is supposed to be done and how. Because my personal experience in the music industry has been that I've gotten scammed out of, and I am going to use the word scam because I think that's to the level, at least the way I felt, because I've been in other industries and I never felt that way. But I spent about 30 to 40 grand on hiring PR and marketing companies in the music industry in the early days because I knew it was important, but I had no idea to what level we're going to get scammed in terms of getting marketing done on the fake level, where we were getting fake bot streams and engagement and all of that. And these companies were trying to convince us, like, look, create the perception like you're making it, people will start coming. But I knew enough as a businessman that just, you know, it just doesn't really work in 99% of the cases in the real world, right? So I want to make sure that other artists don't make the same mistakes that I've done. So we teach it on 2 levels. Again, you know, the artists should really understand on the level where they can put it into practice and really take the action on a daily basis, wear all the hats that they want, innovate with their businesses, with their art, taking advantage of NFTs and different revenue streams, you know, live streaming, Twitch and Patreon, just so many different things that you can incorporate into your artistry. Or as an artist, if you just want to focus on just creating the music and you want to stick to like one particular lane, at least learn the information on the level. So when you start hiring that manager, or when you're recruiting for a manager, or when managers are coming to you because you're building up leverage, or lawyers or accountants or PR people, you at least know what they should be doing and how real business is done. I think it protects them. So it enables them to really get their artistry to the next level, because let's face it, the music industry is very saturated. It's easier than ever to create a hit in your bedroom, literally. And if you have enough of marketing skills just online, you know, you can get it to, you know, pretty, you know, you can create a pretty large buzz around it. I mean, these platforms like TikTok and all that, if you just stay consistent on it, some people can get lucky, but some people do it intentionally. So because it's saturated, I think the artists that have this knowledge, whether they're putting it into practice or they have the knowledge to build their teams the correct way, are going to be in a better position to make it. And I think any industry that's generally saturated, you have to be a pro to understanding how it works, and innovation is what's going to set you apart. So, you know, I think that it's very important to understand it, either enough to not get scammed or enough to where you're going to apply it on your own and, you know, be the next Jay-Z, be the next Taylor Swift, the next David Matthews, or what Kiss has done.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. I love the concept of what you said about, you know, learning enough to know so you can hold your own. And then you find that's how a CEO, GM, that's how you hire, is you know how to do, you know, when you work your way from the bottom up, you know, you start with your big vision. And then you come down, you, like in a restaurant business, you do the dishes, you bust the tables, you greet the customers. Because then when you need to hire those people, you know what you're looking for and you know who can excel. You replace yourself in each position. So, yeah, well, phenomenal, man. We're going to bring you back around a little later with Matt Devine from Cameo on the second half. Before we get to the artist spotlights with Bree Smiles, Trey Lou, and Corey Bapes, we got a special guest. Kindu Kente is in the house to surprise Cameo from him. But we're going to go, we have a really special guest. You heard from him from the intros. He calls it, you know, the urban Disney, and really it's a brand new, healthy concept for the next generation. I just want to hear a little bit from Roy from Healthy Hip Hop, and just have him piggyback a little bit off of where he's at with his company and what he just heard from Matei, and piggyback a little bit off of that. So Roy from Healthy Hip Hop. You there, Roy? If you're on mute, feel free to unmute it.
Sorry about that. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties, but glad to be here. Because what we're doing, obviously, with Healthy Hip Hop, there's a huge tech component. And I think there is a gap between the music industry and the tech industry. That's why you see, for example, the winners in the music industry right now are going to be the Spotify's, the Apple Musics of the world. And, you know, you might get 0.075 cents per stream. So a big motivating factor for us creating our own platform for healthy hip hop was so we could own the platform, so we could control the algorithms, control the narrative, and on the business side, but also more importantly, to have a positive impact on young lives, specifically for what we're doing. Some of the background story was I was that kid who was really influenced by hip hop music and culture. Didn't have a lot of guidance around me, didn't understand the importance of education. And so after I graduated high school, I decided instead of going to college and playing Division I basketball, that I was going to be a rapper. And so started my career in the Kansas City streets. I'm now in Atlanta, but started in Kansas City many years ago and had my wake up moment when I was picking up my son Justice from school. He was about 4 years old at the time. And I noticed him repeating my music word for word. And so those lyrics promoted drugs, violence, misogyny. And I just knew I had to make a change, and healthy hip hop was born. And so it's been quite the learning process for myself as we started with just the music with the goal of always becoming a iconic children's brand. So that's why we say an urban Disney or a new age Sesame Street. So we have characters kind of like PJ Panda. So PJ Panda is like what Mickey Mouse is for Disney. That's what he is for healthy hip hop. And we have a suite of characters around him. But that's why, this was so important to make the impact. But as we started growing the business and I was paying attention to what was going on in every industry, you had to be in the tech space to really be able to scale. If you look at any industry, if it's music, if it's film, if it's automotive, with Uber, Lyft, Turo, et cetera, whoever's creating the innovative software, they're scaling up and they're generating revenue. So been on this journey of a tech company since 2017. Been through multiple accelerators, most recently Techstars, Lean Lab Education, et cetera. And we also use healthy hip hop again in the education space. I know this is about, you mentioned education and empowerment. It's really kind of what healthy hip hop stands for too. How can we impact children's lives and create these kind of safe and clean hip hop experiences for families, being able to have a true experience of the culture, but not have to worry about any inappropriate messages that you probably don't want to expose your kids to. So we're pro hip hop, but we're pro our children first. And so that, connected with Brandon through Tim Martinez in Nashville, because we are also, we just wrapped up the Project Music cohort. We were in the 2020 cohort out of Nashville. And unfortunately, when the program started, COVID hit. So wasn't really able to get, established like as far as on the ground. And, it's different. Zoom is cool, but it's different when you're in person and the energy is there. So, but we made the most of it. Just coming out of Project Music, connected with Tim through that, and then got connected with Brandon, and just let him know any way I could help or support and be a part of this type of community, because this is what it's about, being a collective and sharing and exchanging ideas and helping us all, reach our goals and dreams. And also there is a strong faith-based element for me as well. So just super excited to be here and connect with everybody, and would love to connect offline and, share whatever I can and also learn from you all as well.
Thank you so much, Roy. We had a great talk the other day, and just so excited for where things are going and how you're pivoting and even reevaluating what you're doing to make an impact is phenomenal. And this is a great segue. You said some cool things on the call that, who knows, it might even come up in this conversation. But we're going to go to, we teamed up with DJ Focus in the Fixed Radio show when this thing first started. And he's on the airwaves right now doing the show with Rico Suave, and, really making not just a dent, but creating new waves for faith-infused hip-hop artists. And when he had to make that pivot to all day on Saturday, we said, well, what about Bree Smiles hosting the Fixed Radio show portion of the Music Tech Media Summit for the Artist Spotlight? And Bree is not just an artist and an actress. She is a media mogul, y'all. What you see right now is just the beginning. She has an entrepreneur background in real estate. She hustles. She's got heart. And these guys that are on the call, Trey Lewis and Corey Bapes, went out to the West Coast and joined her on the Invasion Tour. So we're looking forward to a great conversation. We also want to invite Kindu Kente to ask some questions towards the end as well. With shout out to you rocking it in Cleveland. So ladies and gentlemen, Corey Bapes and Trey Lou with Bree Smiles.
I always love your introductions, Brandon. Thank you so much. Okay, so yes, Trey Lou and Corey Bapes joined us on the Invasion Tour on the West Coast leg. And I kind of wanted to get a little bit more info. Was that your guys' first tour? And if it was, how did you like it?
Yeah, well, I don't know, Corey, you want me to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, well, let me go first because I think it'll lead straight into this. So I've been doing music for over 10 years. I've had secular success, was signed with Warner Brothers out there in Miami with DJ Khaled, like 2007, straight out of high school. And I was making worldly music. And this is exciting because a couple years ago is when I actually decided to use my God-given gift to shed light and not darkness, similar to Roy's story. And, you know, I have 2 younger kids and they sing my songs as well. And it's a good feeling when it's clean, when it's healthy hip hop, right? So I've been doing, me and Trey Lou, we dropped a couple songs, and the Invasion Tour was coming by Ohio, and we were allotted the opportunity to perform. Shout out to DJ Focus, The Fix Radio, and Brother Brandon. And when I say it was by divine appointment, this was my very first tour, and it never happened until I went positive. So, Trey, you want to speak on that now?
Yeah, I was actually in Israel playing basketball by the time when Corey reached out to me and said, yo, Invasion Tour coming to Akron, Ohio. You know, are you going to be available? I'm like, nah, I don't think I will be. And at the time, but then some things ended up happening with my team, and I was able to come home, and it literally went from playing basketball right onto stage, and we performed a few of our songs that we have together, and it was an amazing experience, my first tour as well, and just the impact you're able to have, and coming from the basketball court, that's one arena. But the direct impact you have from music is just a different feel when you're able to impact crowds like that. And so it was a blessing. It was fun. I'm looking forward to the next time we can get on tour.
Okay. So how did this collaboration happen? Did you guys know each other? Like, how did you guys end up music together?
That's a great question. So, things always go full circle, right? I guess you could say me and Trey knew each other before we were new creatures in Christ, doing shows and being an entrepreneur. In high school, what I did was I was having secular success off of MySpace and things like that. And it turned into doing shows and performances. And I went from, allowing promoters to pay me, and I'm like, hey, they pay me this, but it's like all these people here. I went from that to saying, okay, let's just rent out the club ourselves. Let's, find out how much it is to promote for on the radio and stuff like that, to doing our own shows and stuff like that. And Trey Lou had one of the craziest 18th birthday parties.
It was a graduation party. It was my graduation party. Yeah. And I invited Corey out, some different rappers from the city, and it was one of the biggest parties that was thrown for a graduation party, and literally so much fun. We had a great time, but that's me and Corey stayed in contact. He ended up going away to school. I don't know if you want to tell him that. We actually recently did a sit down interview that's on YouTube. Sit down where we talk about in detail the story, but long story short, we stayed in contact, but I watched him over the years as he, gave his life over to Christ. And, that was a similar path that I was on as well, just fully taking the gospel serious. And we met up at a different time, and it's like, hey, you doing music? I'm doing music now. Let's do something for the Lord, man. Let's shake up, let's shake up the industry and shake up, where we're from, because everybody, they hear it, and to this day, people calling me like, yo, Corey doing Christian music? Like, how can I get down? So it's just a testimony. It's really a testimony.
That's amazing because you guys have great synergy on stage together. So I knew there was some back history. I just didn't. But okay, so what's next for y'all? So go ahead and we'll cue in Corey first, and then Trey will invite you in. Just tell us what's in the next chapter for you guys.
Definitely. Hey, so I'm looking forward to collabing with a lot of people that's on this call. My company, Wise Words, was initially an opportunity that I had in college to take an idea from incubation to actualization. And we had a mentor, and I presented the company idea, Wise Words. I said, I want to make an educational hip hop label. I presented a song talking about not texting and driving. And this was in 2014, and the investors did not see the value in it. But I never gave up. And this is what I do now. So honestly, what I see in the future is souls being saved, light pushing out the darkness. I see us growing and monetizing these things in different innovative ways that we could never have imagined, and receiving more so we can be more of a blessing to more people. Because it's not about how much you can keep, it's about how much you can give away. And we have a new project. It's coming soon. It's entitled Spiritual Warfare. And Trey, I'll let you speak about that project and what else we're working on. But honestly, the sky's the limit. We're looking forward to shedding more light. I personally would love to work with Brother Roy in some aspects. I always saw myself having like a cartoon character, doing educational positive rap. I'm into the videography aspect as well in the film. But me and Trey plan on breaking some chains this year. It's only May. We plan on doing some great work this year.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So just piggybacking on what Corey said, first of all, it's an honor to be here. So many brilliant minds on here. And like Nathan said earlier, I'm here to learn as well. Even though we're here as spotlight artists, but we're here to grow and connect. And that's what this is all about. And there's so much talent, so many brilliant minds that we can really come together and do something special. And I'm looking forward to building some of these relationships and connections moving forward. So with that said, Corey talked about spiritual warfare. We have a project that we've been working on that we plan to put out very soon. And the project is really about a lot of the times that's going on. We are living in times where spiritual warfare is at an all-time high, and we're here to combat against darkness. That's our main goal, is to be light, vessels of light, going into dark territories. And me and Corey, we're staying accountable to one another. But we also encourage one another. And we were fasting the other day, and God gave us a big vision for what he wants to do here in Cleveland. And it's called Revival Fest. And I'm sharing that for the first time publicly with you all. And we're bringing Revival Fest to Cleveland, a major concert where the idea is to, number one, bring souls to Christ, push back the darkness and the demonic forces that is working over the city of Cleveland. We want to end and help decrease gun violence and the murder rate here in Cleveland, and as well as bring light and freedom to our city. And so we plan to do that. We're still working on the date, but we want to get people involved with helping us, because there's so much that has to take place in order to pull off a Revival Fest. When you think about the artists that have to be a part of it, the scheduling, the marketing, the promotion, so many different things have to come together. And God said, don't worry about the finances. People will come and assemble to make this thing a reality. And it's going to take an army, and that's what we're building with spiritual warfare.
That's awesome. Any way I can help with that and get behind that, you let me know. I'll definitely keep you guys. Will. Go ahead and shout out where people can follow and find you.
Yeah, Trey Lou. That's my artist name. Trey Lewis is my full name. But you can find me on Instagram, Twitter. All my social medias is TreyLew3. That's TREYLEW3. And I also have a nonprofit foundation, Trey Lewis Cares. Like I said earlier, we do a lot of work in the communities and improving the lives of children all over the world.
Awesome. Corey?
Yes. So wisewords.inc.com is my website. You guys can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, Corey Bapes, BAPES, just like the shoes. And that stands for Band All Possibilities Except Success. So I'll be praying for all you guys, and I'm still excited to be here.
Thank you guys so much. I'm a huge proponent of what it is that you both do. You guys are the real deal. You know, I got to spend a little bit of time with you guys and just to hear your heart. So I know that everything that you do it with passion, and you do it with intention, and you do it for kingdom. So thank you guys so much for being a part of the Artist Spotlight, and God bless you both.
Thank you, Bree. Love you. Appreciate you.
Love you too.
Awesome. Great job, Bree Smiles. Sponsored by the Fixed Radio Show with Trey Lew and Corey Bapes, Cleveland legend. I've known about Corey for years, and he was running with all the big hitters out of Cleveland. He is a Cleveland celebrity, and him making some healthy choices. Shout out to Healthy Hip Hop, Roy. A lot of good collaborations happening. I see we got a cool conversation coming for you all. And I want to touch on, we have this next segment. I want to include Nancy from Discover Sooner, your publishing songwriters connection. I want to include Kamal Malik from the legendary hip hop group Arrested Development. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee. And I also want to get involved, Brad from Fine Tune Music, and anybody else who wants to hop in you can hop in too. And just, we want to have that NFT conversation. It's always ends up going that way anyway. So we have Andrew Schiffman on the call too, but I just want to start out, have Kamal kind of share a little bit, and into Nancy sharing a little bit about Discover Sooner.
Yes. The NFT world, I, like almost everyone, new to it. I got turned onto it through South by Southwest, where I met Brandon this year. It was all online, and the conferences were just, I say 80% NFT. And since then, that was about a month ago. Since then, that's all that I've been hearing about. That's all I've been reading about. Gary V, I've been following him for quite some time, and he's just all NFT all over the world. And so in delving into that realm, I just discovered that it's about content for the beginning stages, because as an artist, Beeple, where he got $39 million from Christie's, they basically bought his collection of art. And he's been doing art for over 10 years. And that's something that's a space that I come from, the shed. Like, I don't hear that a whole lot now, where people going into the woodshed and producing content. People was in the woodshed for 10 years producing his 3D artwork. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's a marketplace for the art and distribution for it. And as an artist, you keep the rights, you keep all of your publishing, you keep all the rights to everything for your art. But the bottom line was content, having that content, having a body of work that you could sell as NFTs. So I see the space now where there's a lot of like a rush to market. I remember this back in the 90s with, like I mentioned earlier in my introduction, with Atlanta. Atlanta, at one point, everybody was rushing to Atlanta because that was the hot spot of hip hop, not only hip hop, but funk, rock, you name it. There were all types of groups producing content. And that's where I'm at now, learning more about how to distribute the content. I hear a lot about metadata now, because metadata is the key to securing your content. I'm going to switch around just a little bit. I've been doing a lot of music for film and television. And I just discovered in this last, I'd say 6 months or so, a lot of the music supervisors that I get creative briefs from, they want songs, they give you get the creative brief and they describe exactly what they want. And so I got a couple songs accepted. And now I'm seeing all the supervisors saying, has the song been released? And I say, yes. And they say, can't touch it. No, everything has to be unreleased. It has to be not in the marketplace. So that just threw a wrench in my program because they're looking for original content where they can buy out, where they can have more control of the rights to the music so they can distribute it through their platform. So that kind of gave me a lot of thought on, okay, where's this NFT market going? Because if you're an artist and you've got content and you've released it on the Spotify's, on the Apple Music and all the other platforms, but you want to find another source for that content, it's probably difficult because it's already in the marketplace. So that's where I'm questioning. I'm trying to find answers to that question about NFTs as far as content. And also another thing is with NFTs, setting up your wallets and setting up the whole blockchain environment. Is this whole blockchain environment tax deductible? Say I put $50,000 into my content as far as marketing. So when you look at people think that, wow, he just had this artwork on a computer and just sent them the files. No, his content was packaged, beautifully packaged. It had all of the authenticity seals on it. It was packaged in this glass, almost looked like it is an iPad where you can watch the art digitally on this piece of glass that you get as his NFT package. So I'm like, okay, well, if he put $50,000, not saying that that's how much you put into it, but if you do, is NFT and that whole environment tax deductible? Can I get that money back that I put into it just before it gets sold? So I know I've covered a lot of things and I don't want to just put too much out there, but I'm curious to know if anyone knows some of those answers, because I was in the South by Southwest conference rooms, and like I said, 80% of it was about NFTs, but these questions were kind of looming, and I'm just putting that out there if anyone knows that aspect. And, I'm looking to collaborate also. I'm here in Nashville. Nashville's hot now, and I'm open.
I'm going to go ahead and say, definitely not a tax deductible situation. Probably even more like a taxable event. So it's a bit of a gray area. And I've had a lot of this kind of conversation in the different rooms that we've been educating people and having different lawyers come and go. And you'll hear the tax lawyers say anytime there's a transaction, be aware that it's a public blockchain. So those things are trackable and be ready to pay taxes. And that there's a good reason to store a lot of that in ETH and have a certain reserve set aside in case that you do have to, you do get hit with some kind of taxes. The other people I've heard say, as kind of a general rule of thumb, is you're pretty much good to go until you're taking it out and going back into fiat. At that point, you're looking at a taxable situation. And now there are, I will say, maybe the middle ground being that there are a number of different services that provide blockchain. It empowers charities to use blockchains to take donations in the form of ETH or different types of blockchain currency. So that would be a situation where, as a nonprofit, they could issue a tax deductible certificate. And now if that was tied to some kind of art sale, maybe that's somewhere a middle ground, that if it was a nonprofit doing that, then maybe yes, maybe it would be a tax deductible situation.
So that's definitely similar lines I've heard of, where it is still a little bit of a gray area because it's a new technology. I did just hear, some news that if you're doing a startup social currency or something, they're giving about 3 years to get that up and going before you would have to either, and depending on how you pass the Howey test and stuff, you wouldn't necessarily be a security, which is one of the main things here with NFTs and social tokens and things. The way they're sold or broken up could lead it into a security. So, there's a possibility that, each transaction you make could be taxed, although I don't think that will be the route. I think it'll be more like what you mentioned, Glassy. Anytime you convert from a cryptocurrency to fiat, or you make a sale of an NFT, that will probably be a taxable occasion. Now, if you're an independent artist and you're making music NFTs and you're building your own website or something, and you put $50K into building that website and promoting it, now that may be, some kind of tax deduction for cost in that manner. But it's new technology, and it's definitely a gray area when it comes to the laws and taxation. So it's good to try and get in touch with an NFT or a crypto attorney. Very few out there, because they're still getting educated and learning the system like about everybody.
But to your point about write-offs, even your gas fees for like minting, all those kind of fees, getting your ETH, all those fees along the way are all write-offs. You can, if you have a company set up or LLC set up, you would be able to write all those things off.
Right.
Awesome. What's interesting is a lot of people are hearing about the NFTs, and I just want to kind of break down the basics of what I've been learning as far as somebody who's not diving into the technological side, but the infrastructure and the way that this can benefit artists and entrepreneurs. Is instead of just hearing NFTs, something to grab a hold of is digital collectibles, is the way NBA Top Shots is spinning it. It's the new kind of like a collector's item, a new collector card. But the key thing, I believe, for people like Nancy and other people in the music business is to grab a hold of the smart contract side. And Easy, can you touch, before we have Nancy touch base a little bit on the songwriter side and have Brad chime in, can you, Easy, can you define the smart contract side of what this looks like for an NFT?
So one of the benefits of using NFTs as a format and medium is that we have the smart contract that it's based on. So if you have in your smart contract stipulations as to the rights that go with that NFT, because sometimes people will attach rights to the NFT if somebody buys an artwork and they are given the rights to use that. You can then use that anywhere. Like there's a project Avastars. You retain all the creative rights. Like when you buy that, it's yours. You could make t-shirts out of it. You could use it for, promotion and all sorts of stuff. And in the majority of cases, that's not the case. So you have to be kind of careful when you buy an NFT as to how much authorship and ownership you have over that piece of art or music. There's a lot of benefits that go with this. So being able to kind of cut out the middleman and get more of the funds to the creator by having this contract, you're kind of eliminating, like in the music scene, it's almost like you could just use NFTs as a startup. Because of the smart contract, you're not going to necessarily need all the lawyers and whatnot that usually get a big cut of that. Everything is executed by your signature. When you sign that transaction, you're like signing this contract. And so there is no changing anything that's in the smart contracts. When it's written, when it's executed, that's how it is. There's no going back and saying, oh, well, we're actually taking this much or that much. You have a set royalty, for example. Now, and we still have some room to go on the royalties, because most of the royalties, the resale royalties, are platform specific. And there are people working on standards across platforms. So I hope we'll be there soon. But for this example, if you had made an NFT and you put 10% resale royalties in that smart contract in perpetuity forever, as long as it's on that platform where we stand now, every time that NFT is resold, if it's sold at a higher price, you're getting, let's say 10% commission on that. I personally know people that have made more on secondary sale commissions than they had made on the original sale, because, maybe they started out and were selling stuff pretty cheap. They get, a big collector getting their stuff, and that bumps up their price. And all of a sudden it's selling for, 5 or 10 times what their original price was, and they're making those royalties. So there's a lot that a smart contract can do. It gets a little technical. So I just kind of wanted to give a couple examples of what you can do with that smart contract.
Beautiful. Thanks, Easy. Yeah, Easy has been a great consultant. He's our community coordinator for Straight Up Nashville with Jimmy Kang, and we're working on some amazing projects. Matt Devine from Cameo is working with Jimmy Kang on some pretty special projects. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Cameo. They're doing an amazing job at helping artists, just create new revenue streams and create personal touches with the super fans and people who can be encouraged by these artists and have access through cameo.com. So that's www.cameo.com. If you want to set up a special connector to learn more about how you can get involved as an artist or entrepreneur with Cameo, we're going to do a special off the grid session with Matt in the next couple of weeks that you can be part of that. Just put it in the chat box, want to meet with Matt, or just put Cameo in the chat box or email me and we'll set that up for you. I want to have Nancy talk a little bit about where she's at with Discover Sooner. She's an innovator. She's got these old school relationship building blocks that she has, and she's still cutting edge and hungry to make a difference and pave the way for artists and entrepreneurs. So ladies and gentlemen, Nancy from discoversooner.com. Nancy, you there? Okay, well, we'll
While we're waiting for Nancy, I just wanted to throw something in. As you had mentioned, and it's been brought up earlier, the multiple revenue streams. And I've been in, multiple discussions or clubhouse rooms and whatnot, where the question comes up. Sometimes people that are newer to NFT space may think that, if you're making NFTs and releasing, let's say, your music that way, that you wouldn't then be able to use, streaming and other sources. That's not at all the case. This is not a only do NFT thing. You just add that to your repertoire of, streaming and other music sales and marketing and whatnot. So you can use an NFT as maybe a early access to some of your bigger fans. So they're able to get and own a track. Maybe you've collaborated with a cool visual artist and there's some kind of, animation there that goes with that NFT. So you could have a high priced NFT with a cool animation and a track that you're about to release go on sale maybe a few weeks before you're going to release to a streaming service. So those, kind of super fans get early access to it. And you could have multiple tiers. You could have one that goes for a high, pretty high price that has, some exclusive artwork. You could have then another set of 10 that are, a mid-range. And that allows you to give your fans something collectible, unique, special. They can help support you a lot more than just, streaming your music, which is we all know is not a great way to make money, unfortunately, these days. So I just kind of want to throw that in. It's, it's and it's not a, or. So, using this as a tool to add to your toolkit is the way I would look at it.
Man, you hit the nail on the head. And I'd love to get Brad from Fine Tune Music in the mix, because I know he's been in real time trying to figure all this out.
Yeah, no, thank you, Brandon. And Easy, I have a ton of questions for you. So I definitely want to connect, at another point as well. But I'll bring them, I'll talk just for a second about kind of my world. And then I'm doing a lot of research on how my world and the NFT world and the smart contract world can start to join together, because, traditionally as a music publisher, and I'm not a song guy. I've written songs and I love songs, but my business is supplying underscore music to TV shows. And, I'm going to put out a question. So I own my music exclusively. My company, I should say, owns our music exclusively. It's a bit of a loose term because, of course, I'm licensing this music to this production company and the same music to that production company. So, there's some kind of argument about what's exclusive and what's not. But conceptually, I own, or my company owns this music. I could license it 15, times a day if I want. What I'm interested in is, for instance, if a production company hires me to do work for hire music, so I'm the composer, I write a piece of music, they pay me for that music, they own that music, I'm still the writer of that music. So when that music gets broadcast, if it gets broadcast, I'm getting a royalty, a performance royalty. But how, and this is the question, Easy, how, if I were to incorporate NFT technology into my production music libraries, does that even make sense? Is there, does that give my music more value? Or is that really not quite the application at this point? Whereas an artist like Corey or Bree, or you have a song, and that song is the song, and that's your song. How is that how does it play differently in the commercial world versus my world, which is production music world? And I'm curious. Smart contracts don't work. I get, because that's a concept that is brilliant for me, because when my music gets out to 25, 50 different places, I'm still able to now, they know where it's come from and all of that. But NFT specifically, what's the thought on that?
So, previously, when you started your question, I was thinking, okay, so there would be a lot of opportunity to work providing scores for visual artists that are doing, let's say, 3D landscaped NFTs, where this NFT is a virtual space. It's its own virtual world inside the art piece. You can go in and discover, different hidden parts in it and whatnot. Scoring pieces like that is definitely, I think, an area where, there's going to be demand. As far as the royalties, like if you had, audio NFT that then allows you to stream that, I don't know if I don't think yet there is the technology to say, okay, this NFT was, listened to X amount of times and was shared to maybe this platform here. Although I have heard of people that are working on systems to do that through some advanced, I think it's GraphQL on the Cosmos chain, where this is going to be possible to track like every play that comes from inside a NFT track. So yeah, for where we're at right now, I would almost be looking for artists in the space that are creating NFTs, probably visual NFTs or in the metaverse. So like you go into a gallery and they want to have a nice score to go along with, the first floor has a certain music vibe. And then you go up to the second floor, which is a different kind of, curated art display, and you've got a different piece of music accompanying that. Or maybe you click on an NFT and you see the visual and the music accompanies that. So that's probably where right now would be the most value to kind of look at with the market where it's at.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's interesting that you bring up that thought that there's this movement, for lack of a better word, but to explore the broadcast world possibly, because there are definitely audio recognition technologies. There's TuneSat, there's BMAT out of the UK, I think they're out of, but all of those, they're just audio recognition software, so it's nothing unique. As we all know, if somebody takes a sample and puts it in their song or piece of music, on that same drum loop, I mean, we obviously manipulate and add and layer and, do all kinds of different things because you just don't want a stock piece of a stock loop or something. But that's causing a big problem musically because as on YouTube, as an example, the content ID system, it just hears what it hears. And if my drum loop is a stock drum loop and somebody else's is, sometimes there's these weird false matches. And in television broadcasts, it's a little different because it's still so old school. Production companies, when they produce their show, when they deliver that to the network, there's all kinds of stuff that has to be included in their deliverables. And for the music, of course, there's a cue sheet. And that's, something that usually is filled out by hand still. It's insane. If I have a piece of music and they spell my name wrong, it does not get matched.
So that's where the smart contracts will be really useful, because if you've got these gray areas and, the recognition system, those could be worked in to a smart contract where then it's executed correctly every time, right? So you don't have this black box, filling up with funds that should be going to the artists, and then is, just basically stuck there forever. Maybe if you go through, a very long process, you could claim what's rightfully yours from the get-go. So I do think there will be advancements through the smart contract technology to help with that for sure.
Now my question is, how is the smart contract technology related to the NFT world?
So smart contracts are basically how you execute a sale and how you determine what type of royalties and how those royalties are split. So it's kind of like the skeleton, if you will, of a platform. Now, different platforms use different types of smart contracts and input different data. So right now we're still a little bit platform to platform specific. Like I'd mentioned with the royalties, there is no standard yet across all these platforms. So people are working on that in the space. And I think we're probably fairly close to being able to have a kind of standard that's accepted across at least the majority of the large platforms that people are using to mint their NFTs now.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I know, again, going back to my world, there are a handful of watermarking type technologies that we could use. There's a platform called Source Audio, which is it's basically like a library, a music library kind of aggregator. It's a pretty simple system, and it's a way that if a client of mine says, "Hey, hit me with a playlist," I can throw up a handful of cues. They can surf through it. They can obviously then keep winding their way in. But that particular platform has. They work with a company called Digimark, and Digimark embeds information into that audio file that sticks. So even if I duplicated it, or obviously if I re-recorded it with a microphone, it's not going to keep it. But if I'm doing that, I shouldn't be on this panel or any panel. But but it definitely is an advancement for us. Again, non-commercial type music to make sure our stuff is getting registered and or recognized, I should say, and therefore able for us to compete in that black box. But the PROs, the ASCAPs, the BMIs, the CSACs, and then any other PRO around the world, it's old school. It is so old school. It's just disturbing. And we subscribe to a couple of these audio recognition services because if I license a piece of music to a trailer, it's nice to know that when it gets played, if all of a sudden I get a detection from whether it's another country or the U.S. and I'm like, wait a minute, we never had a license for them. How did they get that music? So it's still, even with that, it's still old school. So yeah, no, I'm really excited about how I know that the NFT and the art world, and now in the commercial artist world, is starting to really bubble up. I think my world is coming, like you said, Easy, it's coming, but
yeah,
it's pretty interesting. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Beautiful, guys. Well, it's amazing to hear some of these, just how the sync world and production world, distribution, how NFTs is really, like the way virtual streaming in 2020 was really the center of the conversation. How do you pivot to the virtual streams? To now it's like everybody's in this NFT, whether it's trying to understand, catch up. So what I want to encourage everybody is, before you get too wild on NFTs, understand, the smart contract principles, what it means, digital collectibles. But even more importantly, there's companies like Song Trust out there that will help you get the bare basics of simple publishing. So instead of jumping to the race of understanding NFTs, it's very important to have the traditional understanding of music publishing. You can find out more about that at songtrust.com. If you're not signed up as an artist, hit us up. We got a link that we can help you save a little money and help navigate that process. So, you want to have a firm foundation. Everything we do at the Cleveland Nashville Connection is based on rich relationships. And, I can't tell you enough how important these Music Tech Media Summits, we're on our 10th one, has been so helpful to build these relationships in whatever stage they're at. It's been life-changing. And social media, I just want to touch on this real quick. Gary Vee talked about the two ways, I listen to Gary Vee a lot. If you're not hip to him, definitely follow Gary Vee if you want to learn about the NFTs or just digital marketing, how to navigate that space. And he talks about, when he was first in the .com boom and understanding that. Then he talked about the second generation of the internet bringing us together, and that was social media. Now he's talking about this third that's involved in the blockchain that we're in the midst of right now. And it's bringing us all back together again, just in a different way. So, be patient, as hard as that can be sometimes. Take your time, eat the elephant one bite at a time. If there's any, before we go off the air, they're on YouTube, we want to thank Studio 44 CLE, Jay Sparrow and Dave Deckens. Dave's behind the scenes, making sure that YouTube broadcast goes well. We want to thank Level 77 Music. They were unable to participate today. However, they want you to know that they are looking for a national salesperson. So if you want to learn more about sync licensing, working with music, catalogs, things like that, and somebody, or you personally would like to find out if that's the position for you, Level 77 Music out of Atlanta has an extensive catalog that's synced for commercial and television and broadcasting, the stuff like Brad from Fine Tune Music does as well. And they are looking for a national salesperson. So feel free to put that out to your network or email me or put that in the chat box. I want more info. ClevelandNashville@gmail.com. Before we go off the air to our Connect 4 session, where we just kind of debrief and chat a little bit, any last minute words from anybody that has a burning desire, want to say what you're up to? And
I did just want to mention something that when Roy was talking about, the kids and education and positive music, I love it. And there's a program in one of the Discords I'm in, the whale community, which is actually the largest, market cap social token out there. I helped kind of develop an idea called Whale Kids. And so they're basically sponsoring, like paying the gas for, parents that have kids, that they're getting them into this NFT scene, getting them to learn a little bit about blockchain, and then publishing their art, the kids' art, into NFTs. and there's a gallery in CryptoVoxel. So this metaverse virtual world, there's a gallery where the kids' artwork is up. So maybe doing something like that, even incorporating, teaching kids a little bit about NFTs. It could be a really great thing to have them even, minting their own music into NFTs. The next generation is so important. We're just building, the basic building blocks, the groundwork of this whole crypto and NFT revolution. So I'm excited to see what they build on top of what we're just tinkering around with.
Easy. Can you repeat that again? Who you said that was offering that for the nonprofit?
So it's Whale Kids is the program that was started in the whale community Discord. And, Discord is a social media, quote unquote, but it's very different type of engagement. Very, all the experience that I've had, all the communities I'm in are extremely positive. In fact, Gary Vee came last week to Token Smart, which is a community I've been with for a long time. And he spoke in our Token Smart Discord before going on to any of this media streak that he started, a little before the weekend here. So he was dropping us alpha before he even went and brought it on to, all the mainstream news. So my DMs are always open. Hit me up if you're interested in hopping on Discord, where there is an incredible amount of information, collaboration, support. It's just about the best place if you're serious about NFTs and cryptocurrencies. You want to get in Discord to a couple of the communities there.
Beautiful, easy. Yes, sir.
Will we be able to get a contact list of the people who are on this call here now?
Yep. Yes, sir. We're gonna about to go off the air, and then we'll just be on Zoom together, and we'll go over that off the air here just in about a minute.
Okay.
Awesome. So behind the scenes, if you're joining us on YouTube or any of the other channels, you might have heard about this. You really have to join the Zoom to get the benefits of the behind the scenes. We're about to go into a special little chat debrief on how we can all connect and continue to grow and glow. So don't let the broken times break you. Let it help you shine brighter. What you don't understand is just one question away from the answer. So here we shout out to John Maxwell, why good leaders ask questions. It's like a paraphrase of the name of the title. But read your books, listen to your audiobooks, get an Audible subscription. If you're watching today, we just appreciate you. You can email clevelandnashville@gmail.com. We're working with Jimmy Kang, the VP of Wu-Tang Management, on some really cool NFT projects, and we're teaming up for Straight Up Nashville, the urban center in the country music capital. So we got great announcements coming up. We'll do a public launch for that, probably not too far out. And if you want to learn about NFTs, Easy is our Straight Up Nashville community coordinator, so you can set up a meet and greet with him, learn some more stuff. We got Natalie Crew, Devin from Aegis. The whole NFT talk that we do is sponsored by Aegis Studio. They're helping build amazing NFT marketplaces. So shout out to Devin and Daniel at Aegis, Natalie Crew. Join us on Mondays on Clubhouse for the Music Tech Media Hour with Bree Smiles, Johnny Wisdom, Natalie Crew, and so many more. If you're not on Clubhouse, get somebody's iPhone or do what you got to do. Get an iPad or something and get on Clubhouse, because things are happening there. Once again, I'm Brandon David with the Cleveland Nashville Connection, where innovation and infrastructure collide. We are going in person next month, y'all, so you might just have to come to Nashville to be a part of the next one. We'll share more with you soon. God bless. Much success. Thanks to Studio 44 CLE. We're going off the air, but we're still in the cloud. Feet on the ground. God bless.